For these little pumpkins, you will need some t-shirt yarn. This one in particular is 1.5 centimeters width, and you will need a crochet hook. I started using the one that's 5 millimeters, but then I lost it in the middle. Anyways, you're going to make the first loop, and then we're going to make a chain of 12. Pay attention that if you want to make a bigger pumpkin, you will need to chain at least 15, 20, 22, depending on how big you want it. Again, you could use this pattern to create a pumpkin pillow as well. So once you reach the 12 chains, you're going to start working in the first chain from the hook, and you're going to do a slip stitch. So you pull it through, you take the yarn, you yarn over, pull through, and you're going to pull through that first loop. Then you're going to go to the next chain, you're going to yarn over, pull through, and now you're going to pull through both loops. Now we're going to yarn over, and then we're going into the next space, yarn over, and then we're going to pull through all 3 loops. So this is half double crochet. Next one, we're going to yarn over and into the next chain space, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and then we're going to yarn over, pull through 2, we're going to yarn over and pull through 2. So this is double crochet. We're going to continue with the double crochets until we have 3 chain spaces left. So this is 1, now this is number 2. So I'm counting here where I need to have the last double crochet. So this is number 2, number 3, and number 4. So I'm constantly counting, but the easier way to just mark it off where you need to have the last one is just to put the little marker, which can be anything literally. You can buy the real markers or not. So now we're going in this chain space and we're going to make half double crochet. So we're going to go into the next space, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and now we're going into the last chain space, and we're just going to yarn over, pull through, and pull through that single chain. From here, we're just going to make another chain, and then we're going to turn our work. And now we're going to go into the back. So we're not going to go through both of these chains, we're just going to go through half of it. So in the back, so you pull through, yarn over, and pull through that 1 loop. So this is slip stitch. Now we're going into the next chain space, again in the back, pull through, yarn over, and pull through 2. So this is single crochet. Now we're going to go to half double crochet, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. And now we're going to do double crochet. So we're going to go with yarn over, we're going to pull through, yarn over, and then pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through those 2 loops. So we're going to continue doing the same as we did for the previous row. We're going to go with double crochets until we have 3 chain spaces left, and then we're going to go with half double crochet, single crochet, and a slip stitch. As you can see, I'm counting again because I was too lazy to use the markers, and it really doesn't matter. It's just that it can make it a little bit annoying to have to count constantly and to see where you're at. So what I do is like I count down 4, 3, 2, and 1 because that's how many of those loops you're going to have on the hook. So now we're going to do a half double crochet, which has 3 loops, and we're going to pull through all 3 loops. Next one is just a single crochet. We're going to pull through, and we're going to have 2 loops, so that's 2, so 3, 2, 1, and the double crochet was definitely 4. So now I pull through both of them, and the next one is going to be a slip stitch. Once you have the slip stitch, chain 1 and turn your work. So practically you're just going to continue working like this all around until you have a little ball created, or until you're satisfied. So again, slip stitch, next chain we have a single crochet, next chain we have half double crochet, and then we have about 4 to 5 double crochets in the next 4 or 5 chain spaces, depending on how many you chose to have. So I'm just repeating the same process, and this is only if you want to follow along, so you see what I do and you can repeat everything. But practically we're just going to repeat the same thing over and over again in circle. Just make sure that each of these loops are pulled through the back of the previous chain. You don't catch the whole chain space, because you want to create these little ribs. Those little ribs are going to create the pattern that the pumpkin actually has. So now this is another row, and we're going to repeat the same thing. So it's going to be slip stitch. So here is where I had to change the needle, because I lost the other hook and I could not find it for the life of me. Like, I don't know, it just disappeared. And this hook is not the best to work with, so yeah, I was struggling a little bit. But anyways, the same thing, slip stitch, single crochet, half double crochet, and then we have 4 or 5, I forgot honestly how many double crochets, but as many as you need until you reach the last 3 chain spaces. So this is 4. This one will have 3 on the hook, half double. Now we're going to have 2, and we're going to have 1 slip stitch. As you can see, it's already forming curve, and here it is after I did, I don't know how many rows, let's say about 10 rows. Usually you will need anywhere in between 12 and 16. If you're doing a bigger project, you might need more. If your yarn gets entangled like mine did, just try to untangle it. Like it can twist. It's very easy, especially if it's very elastic. So just try to untangle it, go the opposite way. You need to go the opposite way in order to untangle it, just the way I did it. Like when you're trying to loop it around your finger, just go the other way to untangle, because it can really be nasty with a twist. So I'm really struggling with this hook right here that I'm using, and oh boy. Anyways, for this kind of project, you should use the yarn that's very thick and that has a lot of body and a lot of sturdiness. If you use yarn that's pretty soft and does not keep the shape, you will have to put pillow stuffing in it to make it have that kind of like rounded shape. And that's why I suggest using t-shirt yarn or any other yarn that's like that kind of like, it keeps the relief that you're making, it keeps the shape that you give it. So once you see that you had enough rows, you're going to pull the yarn through and you're going to cut it. So here I decided that this was it, that this was done, that I did not need any more rows, and I just cut the yarn, and I left like about 15 centimeters of it. So yes, here I'm pulling through that yarn because I need to secure that work. And then I'm going to take the plastic needle that's for the yarn work. I did not record how I inserted it, but you will see it later. And now I'm just going to go on top, and I'm going to catch each one of these chains that are on the top of the row. So practically you're just going to go in circle like this, and my advice is just go one by one, because these kinds of needles are pretty flimsy. They don't have a lot of resistance. They're not that sturdy. So just go one by one. Two at a time was, for me, was not possible. And so just go all the way in the circle. And once you reach that first point where you started, you're just going to pull the work tightly, so to gather the top part and to create that extra dimension that the pumpkin has. And right here I'm pulling it tightly, and you can see it created a nice little gather. And now I'm going to do the side without cutting the yarn. So again, do just one at a time. Pull the needle through, take just one chain space and one stitch, and just go through it. Like, you literally have to do one layer at a time, and make sure not to have any clutter around you like I did. Anyways, just go until the end and you will be done very quickly. This is the part that takes most time, because you have to go through and you want everything to look very neat and nice. And here I'm reaching slowly the end, and once I reach the end, I'm going to leave this circle open until I put some fluff in it. As I said, this was absolutely not necessary, but I like to have some resistance on the inside in order for this little pumpkin to keep the shape. And after that's done, I am going again with the same yarn and same needle. Pay attention that I did not cut it. It's still the same one, and I'm just going in circle again, catching just one at a time of those top stitches on top of the rows. And once again, we're just going to pull it very tightly to make sure that everything is nice and tight and secured, and you have little body of a little pumpkin. How cute is it? Absolutely adorable. So, but we're not done. There is more. So now I'm just trying to secure the work, and I'm going to cut the excess yarn, and I'm going to leave the extra on that needle because we're going to need it in a few minutes. I'm tucking in that extra yarn because we don't want it to be visible on top. That's one thing, that's for sure. And now we need to create that little thingy on top, the stem of the pumpkin. So we're going to make the loop again. And here I was having issues with the hook, as I already mentioned. Pay attention, the hook is very important when you're doing this. If it's not the right one, you're going to have as much trouble as I did, and maybe even more. So here I'm making the chain of 7. Once you make the chain of 7, well, depending on the size of your pumpkin, you might need more than 7. You're going to turn your work on the side, and you're going to go under that back stitch. And you're going to pull through that, like you're going to make a slip stitch. Now I'm going through the next one again in the back, and I'm again pulling it through, again another slip stitch. So we're going to continue making only this. We're just going to make only slip stitches, nothing else, until the end. So you're supposed to have 6 or 7 of them. Anyways, yeah, 6, because the 7th was the turning chain. And once you reach the bottom, we're going to try to go in circle to create the platform for that stem so that we can connect it to the pumpkin. Okay, so this is the last one, the last slip stitch, and now I'm chaining 1, and I'm going to try to catch that right through that magic loop, and then I'm going to make a single crochet. I'm going to chain 1 more, and now I'm going on the side, so I'm practically just going in circle. There is no right or wrong here, and then again it's 1 single crochet. Now I'm going to chain 1 again, and I'm going to catch again the next little chain, the next chain space, and another single crochet. I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to repeat over and over in circle until I have a little platform that's going to help this stem stand on the pumpkin. And once I reach the circle, I'm going to wait in and check it out if it stands right or wrong, if I need extra loops. And here I decided that that was it, that was enough. So I just chopped it off, and I left a little bit extra so that I could connect it to the body of the pumpkin. So yeah, here I decided not to use that yarn that was on the hook, because this one was already attached, and that's a lot easier because we're trying to avoid having too many loops. And this is how I insert the yarn into the needle. It's very simple. You just need to put in 1 corner, and then you just pull it through. And then you choose which side you want the stem to be on, and you put it on top, and then you start sewing in circle. Again, you're going to have to catch just 1 stitch, 1 loop at a time, and until you reach the end. So there is no right or wrong. Pumpkins are not always perfect shape and perfect size, so you don't have to worry if you make any mistakes, because it's not possible. So you just need to go in circle and create your own pumpkin. And I think that the more ragged it looks, the more realistic it's going to be. As you can see, I just try to catch each and every one, and also I'm tucking in that excess yarn that was at the bottom of that first chain of 7 that we made when we were creating this little stem for the pumpkin. I'm gonna have this a little bit sped up because I mean, it's pretty easy to see what I'm doing, and you don't really need too many instructions on this portion. And this is the final little tuck in, and after that I check if I need it elsewhere, and I add 1 more just to secure that part a little bit better. And I think that that's pretty much it. We are done with securing the stem. And here I was trying to pull this XoXo yarn through with the needle, but that did not work because the pumpkin was too big. But yeah, I was struggling, and anyways, I created another loop, and then I cut the yarn and then pulled it through with the hook, because that's the easiest possible way. So when you finish with that, you have something like this. It's a cute little pumpkin, and if you want, you could technically make a leaf. I did not make leaf, but I wanted to create, just to give you some idea, I wanted to create something extra and make jack-o'-lantern. And right here I was decorating another pumpkin, and then I decided, okay, let's do it for the white one, and let's do it for both of them. So I just used foamy that's like 2 millimeters thickness, and I used some tape because I didn't want to use hot glue. I did not want to use other things, but there are like multiple ways in which you can do it. If you have double-sided tape, that's much better option than this. And I was kind of like rushing to finish this because I just wanted to have them for decoration and not for Halloween. I think that they're very cute. And if you want to make smaller ones, you can create smaller ones that can be keychains. It's super cute, and I believe that if you make it for gifts or to sell, it will go well, definitely. So what I did, I used regular tape and I taped it in circles so that the sticky side is on the outside, and then I just glued these little cutouts that I made, 2 little triangles. You can decide how you want them to be, and then I made a big one for the teeth, and this one is smiling, but it's also very creepy, but it's cute. Anyways, the pumpkin should have been bigger for these, but anyways, you get the idea, you get the gist. And if you wanted to, you could actually you could use also this little those little pins if you have them. And this is also an easy way to attach everything and remove it when you don't want to, because if you use hot glue, it's going to stay there permanently. It's just going to mess it up. I know that the pin is visible, but altogether it looks cute. If you wanted, you could add also some of the eyebrows. I did not do it because they were too tiny and all, and I just decided to keep it as simple as possible, and I took everything off, and this is the final result. I'm in love with them. They're super cute and funny, and they're very easy to make. This can be a family project or whatever you decide it to be. If you like this video, please give it a like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.